Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, we got DP from DP Performance joining us on the show, and we're going to talk some NBA playoff basketball. We got Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia this weekend, and we follow it up with the weekend in sports. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! Ready, we ready. Yo, DP in the building. What's going on, my G? Hit the horns for my dog one time, please, dog.
What's going on, my dog?
How you living, man?
Chilling, dog. Feel good.
Bro,
good.
Thank you for having us, man. We love having you here.
I know you couldn't hear the horns, but we definitely
hit the horns.
When you see the episode back, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know me, man. Like to keep it local, and I'm always looking at the movers and shakers that are doing their thing in South Florida, right? Getting their name out there. And you've definitely been putting in work, dog. And for as long as I've known you, man, you've always been a real humble dude, a real cool dude. You know what I mean? Down to earth, very about your business. And yeah, man, we've always admired that. So when I told you, I was like, yo, let's get DP on the show, dog. He was like, this is for sure no-brainer.
Yeah, no doubt. But let's introduce him a little bit what he does, and
man,
giving him all his praise. Let's give him a little background here.
I mean, if you don't know, I'm owner, CEO of DP Performance. I'm a personal trainer, sports performance trainer. I have my pretty much my own business within a business. I train out of, you guys, like I told you guys, out of Hialeah, Infamous Fitness. I've got 4 or 5 trainers now. It's grown from just me.
Let's go, man.
12 years now. I've got maybe 6, 7 schools now contracted.
This is high schools and colleges.
College of...
And specifically in baseball, right?
Correct.
Well, the schools, yeah, baseball. But I've got clients that play all kinds of sports, all kinds of different athletic activities, general pop guys. Anybody can just walk in, come train with me if they want to, and if I have the space. But yeah, the majority definitely is baseball.
The word on the street, it's hard to get a spot.
Hard to get a spot. You gotta know this man. I mean, like side text.
I'm not gonna lie. The side text is if you know me, I can squeeze you in. But it's a little tough right now, especially with baseball season.
That's good.
I mean, that's always a good sign, right?
Yeah, good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but it gets stressful.
I bet, man. And, you know, when we talk about the stress that comes with that, right, it's always hard to do your own thing, right, and start your own business and really put your right foot forward in that. But thankfully for you, man, you have a very well-rounded background, not only when it comes to your sports experience, right, playing baseball at a high school level, playing at a college level, like getting drafted. Yeah. You know what it takes to be a high-level type performance, so you moving into that space was only a natural thing, and I feel like that's right up your alley, dog.
I think it was like it was so natural that I didn't even realize, you know. It was just like I've done this before.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, right?
It makes sense. I've done this before. It's not, it's not like something new. I just I went to law school. Like I didn't go from playing baseball to go to law. It's completely different. Like this was. It was such a smooth transition that I didn't even realize I was doing certain things when I was doing them.
Damn.
Other people are just like, yo, you did it. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, you know what? You're right.
I did
patent that right there real quick.
And sometimes I got to remember. It's like, I did do that. Yeah.
And that's what led you to start DP, man. And DP Performance has really taken off, right? If you follow him on Instagram, you can follow him at DP Performance.
Yeah, at _DP Performance.
Yes, sir.
DP standing for your
government
name.
Yeah, my government name.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever get anything.
The man said call him DP, dog. So we're calling him DP.
Yeah. The thing is, like, a lot of people, which is crazy, usually the Hispanics butcher my name, and they're Hispanics. I don't know why. Yeah. I think just because everybody who's not Hispanic, they just go straight to the DP. They don't even want to try. Right. But usually the Hispanics butcher my last name. Like,
but I mean, you're a baseball player. That is like, was it a play 2 on like double play? Or something, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
bro.
right. Like, that's a good one, dog.
Hey, bro, he's going to turn double right now, dog. You know
I see. But no, but just because I never played the infield. I'm left-handed, so I didn't play the infield. So now, but that would have been dope though.
Oh, I don't know your baseball background. What did you play?
I was a center fielder, outfielder. I played everywhere in outfield.
What high school?
Miami Springs. Yeah. But
and that's where you're doing performance coaching now too, right?
Yeah, it's one of my high
Full
schools.
circle, dog.
One of my high schools. I love them, and right now they're doing great. They're actually, I think they're in the championship in the GMACs coming tomorrow against Columbus. Actually,
Fire.
So you guys follow that. They will at 3:30 tomorrow. They play at Columbus, so check them out.
That's Tuesday, 3:30. Check it out. You're not gonna want to miss that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about a little bit about your college career and the process of you getting drafted. What was that experience like competing with people like right at your athletic, let's say, standard or even above, right? How was that experience for you and being throughout that process?
College was humbling. It was just humbling. I tell everybody, like, baseball is the hardest thing to do in all of sports is baseball. I went to a high school that was really good. I mean, anybody that knows anything about high school baseball, and you talk about Miami Springs in 05, 6, 7, 08, you're talking about a powerhouse that was just full of just
studs, dog.
Just
MLB
pure,
studs, dog.
Talent, just pure talent. So that was, and then like even growing up, you know, I was always playing, and I was always good, playing on good teams, good travel teams, you know, so I was just used to just winning,
right?
Just, you know, just being good. So it, like, when I got to high school, being young and then getting to high school, it was almost like you just took it for granted. Like, you just get used to certain things, you take it for granted. When I got to college, it was like the humbling part because everybody was good. Yeah. Everybody was just as good as me, if not better.
Right.
And, you know, college was one of the first times where I'm like, damn, I might not be good enough to play today against this guy or tomorrow against such and such. Or we're playing some guy who's supposed to be a first rounder next week. Shit, I gotta get ready.
Dog.
You know?
That's humbling, dog.
That's when the college was like, I was like, oh, all right. And then also too, like all guys, past teammates that went to other schools or whatever, I would see them be somewhat average too. You know, they'll still be good. Don't get me wrong. Like,
right.
Don't get me wrong. They'll still be good.
They're at that level.
They're still, but you know, it's not what I was used to seeing them when we were growing up. It was a little bit more humbling, and that's when I was like, all right, this is crazy.
This might not last too long.
This might not be too long. I might not be doing this for too long. I'm also not the biggest guy in the world, so I'm like, yo, you know, that's the first time where I was really like, had to sit down, you know, grind, do the little things that people don't see, the little things that even I didn't think were important. That was the first time, but it was, you know, I was already in college. It was too late. Like, that's why now, like, working with like young kids and high school kids, that's why I love it so much, because like I put that into them now. I try to instill that now so that doesn't happen to them.
Bro,
you know,
so you're not just a coach to them, you're also like a mentor.
Mentor, big brother. A lot of my clients, you know, just look at me as like an older brother, basically.
But that's awesome.
A mentor, you know, because it's outside of the training. Like, I'm still texting them like, yo, like, you know, you had a bad game today, like, or yeah, that. Like, their physical. They learn so much with me in the gym that I don't even worry about like their eating, because they do it off rip. You know,
that's so cool.
Like, in a month, 2-3 months working with me, you already like, yo, I have to drink my gallon a day. I have to eat this. I have to stay away from this. I have to stay away from that. I'm good, and they know that they want to get better, so it's literally automatic. With athletes, it's automatic, but it's the mental part of being an athlete that I keep track with them. I'm always like, yo, you had 2 bad games. Like, it's not the end of the world. Relax. This is a tough sport. You're playing at a high level. It's going to happen.
Right.
You're not going to be, you know, Michael Jordan every day. You're not going to be LeBron James every day. You're going to have your days. And when you have those days, you celebrate those days, but you keep it pushing, because tomorrow you might not have that same day. So it's that mental part that I try to instill with them, because I didn't have that in college when I needed that. Because, like I said, like, once I got to college, everybody else was good.
It changes the game.
You know, absolutely. Everybody else was good. And then some of my teammates, they didn't know how to, you know, like, kind of give that advice to another teammate, because they didn't know themselves either.
True.
So that's the biggest thing for me. Like, when I was playing, it was like, damn, like, I need some advice, but I don't know where to get it from. And I don't know how to, you know. And it's in college too, like, especially with baseball, it's survival of the fittest. You want to win, you want to be a team player, but you also know that your future's on the line. So you got to do whatever you got to do because you have to put up the numbers because you want to get to the next level.
Right.
So, but at the same time, you want to be a good teammate to your teammate who's struggling or not struggling or is doing good or whatever it is. So my thing, like now with kids, is I try to get their mental just always on point. That way, by the time that struggle comes again later, they know how to deal with it.
No, for sure. And that's something that I've seen a lot on your Instagram, you know what I mean? And even in person, whenever we've played football together, flag football, and we're competing, your ability to like try to coach, keep a positive mental attitude and stuff like that really goes far with people, And the impact that you're having with these kids, man, is like beyond the sports, right? Because the sports is going to be the sports, and whether they're good or they stay dedicated to it or not, right? But as far as the life lessons that these kids are getting, and even some of these younger athletes, because you may look young, dog, but you got some wear and tear on you, dog.
Some of my clients don't even like their parents. Actually, some of the parents like they'll come in and they'll where'd you play high school at? I'm like, oh, what year? And then I'll tell them, and they're like, wait. They start doing the math, and they're like, how old are you, bro? And I'm like, I got a little wear and tear. Like, I'm not that young.
You see, but that's what makes people, like, even trust you further, right? To be like, man, this guy really does know what he's talking about, and he's coming from a good background and a positive place where he's experienced the highs and the lows, you know what I mean? And can translate that to these kids nowadays, because it ain't easy, right?
That's
we
why
all know that we have younger, people in our lives that we try to talk to, and it's not always easy to get that message across. So
the reason why I'm even taking time to say this is because, like, I know when you're not an athlete, a lot of guys watch sports and this and that. And it's like, oh, such and such is not playing because he got a bruise or this and that. Like, the biggest thing, like the scrutiny that Ben Simmons had with the whole mental situation, that's why I do what I do, because that's real.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Unless you've been a high caliber, high level athlete that has struggled, you don't know what he was going through. Like, so that's why I say it. Like, I'm like, yo, that's important. Like, that's a big deal. Nobody told Ben Simmons, yo, it's going to be all right. Like, you're Ben Simmons.
Right.
Like, you're good, bro. Trust yourself. Go in there and do your thing. Like, this is another layup, another free throw. You've been doing this your whole life, We don't know what was going on in the background, but that's a real thing. And it happens at all levels. It doesn't just happen in the NBA. Like, people might look at it as, oh, this guy's not going to play again, this and that. Yo, if he's not playing, he's not ready. Because trust me, I guarantee you Ben Simmons wanted to be on that court.
Yeah. And you know what? And it's not only with Ben Simmons, right? We've seen it a lot in football recently, right? Where guys are stepping up about mental illness and stuff like that. Baseball players, right? That are saying like, yo, this is the stress that I live with every day to come out here and perform and try to hit the ball 3 times successfully out of the 20-something pitches that I'm going to see in one night.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man. Being an athlete is definitely not easy. But I do think it's like what you said, that the kids nowadays, they do have an advantage of seeing so many both good and bad examples, successful examples, unsuccessful examples, you know what I mean? Yeah. It allows them to really take this serious from somebody like yourself and say, all right, I'm going to listen to what my coach is saying. Right. And I'm going to walk this path the right way because it may lead me to something even better that I wasn't even aware of.
And a lot of times, too, they see that pay off a lot. Like, they'll see the advice like, damn, I really calmed down and it worked out for me. I didn't stress this. I didn't think about it too much. I didn't do X, Y, Z that I was doing before.
Right. There's nothing like that moment when something clicks.
When it clicks, exactly.
Trying to be taught, whatever somebody's trying to teach you, and you're trying to learn it and you can't. Yeah. And then that moment where it just finally goes. There you go.
And the great thing about that is too, like, sometimes I test my kids a lot because I'll throw some in there, like just plant a seed about whatever, and then I let them fail. I'll let them go through the hardships, and I'll let them fail, and I'll tell them, I'm like, you know why this happened? It's because you didn't do X, Y, Z, and this happened. Now try it this way and see what happens. And if it works out, then they're like, damn, this guy's really, he wants the best for me.
Right.
If not, if he didn't, he wouldn't have let me fail to let me learn that lesson.
Of course. That builds that trust.
Yeah.
And then it makes your job easier too when they trust you and you can actually give them the right instruction. You go, all right, hey, you're going to do this. And all right, cool. No,
that's the exciting part.
All right, the reason we did that was to get to here. You know what I mean? And they're like, all right, cool. Just trust the process.
Yeah.
No, it's the exciting part because then like he gets the person who's willing and able, right, to say, yo, let's go through his training. And now you can see what the body can achieve. You know what I mean? And that's always exciting, dog. I'm sure for you.
And that's honestly, that's how my growth came, because a lot of times from the outside, like the parents would see how the kids gravitate towards me, but not know why. It's like, yo, like who is this? Who's this guy that all these kids are just messing with and this and that? And a lot of times, like I said, like it fooled people because they're like, yo, how old is this guy? It looks like another young guy that all these kids are in love with. Like,
right.
Why does everybody like this guy? And it's because of that. It's that relationship.
Yeah, bro.
And they trust me.
That relativity, bro, is a big deal. You know what I mean? It's a big deal because, again, it allows you to reach these kids in so many different ways, right? And find a different level to connect with them. Let's talk a little bit about the professional guys that you work with, man. I don't want to drop any names, and we're going to keep everything private. But how is it for you, right, going from having that intense one-on-one relationship where you might see this high school kid 6 times a week, right, 5 times a week, to a professional that you got to work with maybe for 2-3 weeks, a certain amount of days? How does that scheduling, how does that type of performance work out at DP Performance for you?
So the scheduling isn't. It's not tough because, or not as tough as you may think. It's just because all the seasons are in different times.
Got it.
Like, for example, right now, like I said, high school, they're starting their GMACs. So after GMACs, they got maybe 2-3 games, and then they ramp up for the playoffs.
Right.
Playoffs will probably be done by the end of May, maybe, or early May. If you're still playing mid-May, then that means you're playing for a state title. So that's good news. That's good news.
That's a good sign.
But baseball will go all the way to October if you make the playoffs. So baseball ends October. Usually the first week of last 2 weeks of September, first week of October, when I ramp up the off season with the pro guys, give or take 2-3 weeks that they decompress and take a little vacation after the season, and they start. So by that time, high school and college is in the fall. So I'll have like my early mornings dedicated to my pros up until like 11, 12 o'clock. Maybe sprinkle some college guys in there, and then have the high school kids after like in the afternoon whenever they go do their hittings in the mornings, or they're usually out in tournaments, the perfect game tournaments, fall tournaments are going on at that time, and they'll come in later in the day. So it's not that hard really scheduling, but it is a more hectic time when the fall comes around and the pro guys are all here and this and that. It's a little bit more hectic because it's busier. Where now they're all in their season, I'm kind of just hanging out in the mornings or early afternoons now.
Busy is better than bored, bro.
No, always. I'm one of those people, man. Like when COVID hit, I was going crazy because I can't be just not doing anything for X amount of time. Like,
you mean you didn't hop on a Zoom training and just train somebody through Zoom?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't do it just because
there's people doing stand-up comedy on Zoom, though. I'm surprised.
Really?
You did it.
Yeah,
of course,
dog.
bro.
Really? I mean, that's a little different though, because I can make you laugh.
It can happen. It's a lot easier to pull that off.
Really?
Doing
Nobody's
stand-up is
laughing.
super awkward. You need to.
Well, yeah, you don't know if people are laughing at your jokes.
You don't have an
That's
audience.
true.
You know what I mean?
What?
That's
Throw
true.
your laptop in your backyard, get a net. You know what I mean?
That's
This
true.
is gonna be. We're gonna be here
I
for
didn't
a
think
while,
of that.
bro.
I didn't think of that. You don't know if they're laughing at you.
Nah, dog.
I didn't think of that.
At least if you're
That's just mad awkward.
That's
bro.
actually
super awkward, dog.
Who did that? What
A
comedian
bunch of
did?
people. I follow
bunch
a
of
bunch
guys.
of comedy.
A bunch
So
of guys.
like a bunch of people tried it. Like not like big name comics. Like people that were grinding, dog. Like
Yeah.
dudes that were like traveling and doing spots and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden their income stopped.
Those I
They're
can't
like,
be
I
at
gotta
home
do
guys.
something.
But yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't knock it. Like I know guys that were selling trainers that were selling stuff and doing their thing, and I don't knock it because I'm not paying your bills, so I can't tell you
dog.
how to get it.
Can't knock the hustle.
But I've always been one of those people that I've stuck to my value and my service and I'm not gonna let anything. I'm not gonna say that COVID wasn't serious, but I wasn't gonna let anything like just tarnish my
sure.
my level.
And it's a
of
different experience altogether.
my service, right? Like
being in person.
if I charge you what I charge because it's that good and it's the quality is up there, I'm not gonna just drop that because COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? It's not your fault COVID hit. I'm not gonna just give you a low level of quality because COVID hit.
Right.
I gotta figure it out. We all had to figure it out,
Yeah.
But I wasn't gonna put the integrity of my business on the line just for picking up the phone like, oh, he's DP, he's gonna give you a good training. Like I could have done it, but I'm not gonna be like, all right, give me X amount of squats, X amount of lunges, and all right, I'm gonna watch you do it, and then charge you $50 for that. I'm not,
Right.
or $6, whatever, I wasn't going to do that. So I just grinded it out. I was waiting till everything got opened up again. I did my own little thing out in the parks. I would go to Springs, use the field, get my guys out there, which was crazy, because people would just look at us and be like, I actually got kicked out of Stafford because they had rules and stuff and, you can't be on here.
Yeah, I got wild during those times.
It was a little crazy,
about 2020 through 2021.
Yeah,
but
I tried to figure it out, in person and do my thing with what we could, and we did though. My guys know I have clips, I have videos of that time,
nice.
And it was great, but it was also rough.
Yeah,
but I wasn't willing to just ruin my name because COVID hit.
Right.
Nah, I think that was a smart move, man, and ultimately it paid off for you, dog, because like everybody was dying to get back to work, right? Dying to be pushed. Like, yo, DP, I need to get in the gym today, dog. Let's go.
Actually, not when you were talking about the scheduler thing, that was the toughest time to schedule because literally it was like January 1st. Oh, I'm gonna start the gym. It was literally
bunch of text messages on January 1st. Hey, Happy New Year. What's up?
Yeah, it wasn't even that, bro. It was some of them didn't even say Happy New Year. It's like, yo, so the gym's open again. We can start training. All right, I want 17 times a week. Like, I'm like, yo, like, I don't have time. Like, I don't have the time now. So it literally was the opposite. It was, I don't know when the gym's gonna open, and when it opened, I had too much business.
That's because you just opened the floodgates.
The floodgates, exactly. So it was just like, I was like, damn. And I'm the type of guy that, especially the more I grow, the more giving I become, because I hate telling people no. It's like, yo, DP, you have a slot to open, and I hate telling you no. Because I don't want you to turn around and be like, oh, this guy thinks he's too good to train me.
It's not that, dog.
But it's hard to explain that.
I feel you, dog. No, I definitely feel you, dog, because it's hard to say no. You're 100% right, dog.
It's hard.
Especially at that level. Yeah, you know what I mean? Where you got to make a business decision, right? And that's what it comes down to, making a business decision and being like, all right, look, man, I would love to work with you right now, but at this very moment or this time frame, I can't. But let me lock you in for something else, Or I could put you down with one of my other trainers, right? Because now, thankfully,
which is what I do now, too.
You have a good staff, man. You got a real good, strong staff, dog, and that plays a big role.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thankful for that, because now I barely ever tell anybody no. But sometimes other people want to specifically train with me.
No, of course.
I mean, that's like the barbershop, dog. You know what I'm saying? I pull up with my barber. He's like, I'm a little tied up, but you can slide and see my man's. Like, I'll come back tomorrow.
I don't know if I'm down for that. I don't know if I'm down for that.
People literally do that, and I'm
no
like,
no offense to your homeboy, I'm sure he's a great barber, but there's just a trust, there's a bond that we've built,
It's a lot different.
True. It's true, and that's how it is. But I just hate telling people no. Also, too, because I got into this industry to help people. So if you're coming to me for help, that's what I became a trainer for, is to help everybody. So I hate telling people, like, no, I can't. Right. I don't have time, Yeah. But I always try to figure it out, and for the most part, it's worked out.
Well, shit, man. Thank you again for being here.
For having the time, dog. Look at that. We got lucky.
Carving out some time to be here on this little podcast.
Yeah, man.
It's not little. It ain't little.
We get it. It ain't little. We still small fish. We still small fish, but we growing. We're getting in with the right people, getting to sit down and have a good time. I know you're a big-time basketball fan like I am, dog. And, the Heat had a very big weekend, right? On Friday, they had that win against the Chicago Bulls.
I gotta apologize, dog.
Why, dog?
I was counting the Heat out, dog.
Me too, dog.
That game on Friday.
I'm a big Heat fan, and I'm still counting them out of the series.
I am too. That win against Milwaukee, we'll get into all of that now, but I do gotta apologize because this, as long as Jimmy Butler is still wearing the Heat jersey,
you got a shot
back against the wall.
You got a
we
shot.
We can still make it happen, and we proved that in that game on Friday, the play-in tournament.
Yes,
game.
Sir.
Yeah, a 102-91 victory, and it was literally that, right? Where Jimmy came down in the fourth quarter, really dominated, made some big plays, had a couple of big free throws, right? Found Strus, who missed the three, but he got fouled, and then Strus went on and made the 3 free throws to kind of put the game away. But dog, Chicago was on fire in that third quarter.
That was. Depending on how long you've been a Heat fan, that was a vintage Heat win. Like,
facts.
That was like that was a grinded out Heat culture. That was Jimmy Butler's like the perfect, like D-Wade 2.0. Like he's the perfect Miami Heat basketball player. And like I said, like I love the Heat, but I'm still counting them out of the series because the Bucks are just better. They're bigger than us. That's just Giannis.
No, and Giannis got hurt in that game. We'll get into that one now. But I don't want to glaze over Friday night's game.
Oh, we're Friday. Yeah,
because you mentioned Max Strus, man. I mean, where have you been all year, homie?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for showing up in the playoffs.
23 points in the first half, dog.
Yeah. On fire from 3.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what he was at the end of it all, if he was like 7 for 10 or 6 for 10.
But he was Max Strus that day.
He was Max Strus that day.
He was like, and they took one away from him that I think should have been a 3-pointer.
Where have we seen that before last year?
Yep, same exact situation.
Same situation.
Shout out to that kid, bro. He shows up in big games, and that's what we're seeing. we need it, especially now more than ever.
Yeah. And look, and even in the game against the Bucks, right? Like, because Max Strus did have a strong fourth quarter in that Bulls game, right? And in this game against the Bucks in that first quarter, Gabe Vincent was the one who ended up having a strong quarter from outside of Jimmy and Bam, right?
And Tyler,
right? Before the injury. Yeah. But Gabe Vincent was the dude in the fourth quarter to make a couple of big threes and really put the game away.
And that's what I mean by, like, Miami Heat basketball, because even back in the not
back in the day,
back in the day,
like
D-Wade was 2014. Well, I'm even going back to 06 but we did lean more on Dwayne Wade back then. But like, it's still Miami Heat culture. Anybody can get it. That's really basically how that's how Udonis has basically imprinted that culture with us.
Well, let's talk about defense. And again, for those, I mean, if you're living under a rock and don't know, we beat Milwaukee in the first game,
130 to 117,
opening round of the playoffs when we played.
By the way, which was sorry to cut you off, but that was the biggest Heat victory in playoff history.
The margin,
as far as margin.
Not only that, we won every single quarter. I'm pretty sure we won the fourth. We
won every single quarter.
We won every single quarter. I don't know how many times that's happened this season.
Very few.
But you talk about Heat culture. And it's beyond just Jimmy Butler, turning around, and posting somebody up, making that jump shot, or Max Strus making a clutch three, or Gabe Vincent making a clutch three. Sunday, that win was Miami, Kevin Love in the paint.
It was Miami Heat
putting his body on the line,
it was a Miami
taking
Heat
charges, shit that we would see back in the day that people don't do anymore. And it was like, damn, bro, you know what? I'm glad we got Kevin Love, because then not only was he putting his body on the line, literally. Right. Then he was posting up from three-pointer and draining threes. And it was
what that is? That's having Udonis Haslem in the locker room. That's what that is. Udonis Haslem would have chewed him out if he wouldn't have taken that charge. And that's Miami Heat basketball. Like, that's
multiple.
I think it's what is expected, right? When you come to this team, it's like a checklist. It's like, you're coming here, but it's no fun in games, dog. You got to be able to defend. You got to be able to, move your feet. You got to be lateral. If you
don't believe that that's Miami Heat basketball, you can look at clips and you could see LeBron was doing that when he was here. LeBron was sitting.
LeBron he ain't taking no charges in LA.
He ain't taking charges. Not now. At his age. But even with the Cavs, like, LeBron got here. LeBron got here, and he was in there doing the dirty work. Battier he's a poster child for that. It was Haslem and Battier. Battier, I think, set the record for most charges or something like that when he was with us.
Pretty sure you did.
But LeBron was doing the same thing. Everybody was. It's the culture.
It's the culture.
Right?
It's the culture. And look, people don't get that, dog. Yeah. When you talk about basketball with other people and you're like, nah, he culture, and they're like, he culture. Yeah, no, dog, that's a real thing.
That's why UD is celebrated how he is, because he brought that culture and he imprinted that culture here. Like, if they're gonna come and beat us, fine. If they're the better team, they're the better team. But they're gonna earn this victory.
Right.
Like, they're gonna earn it. I promise you. Blood, sweat, and tears. You're gonna advance, and it's gonna hurt you. That next team is probably gonna have an advantage because you got to grind it out against us.
Don't get us wrong. This team is the 8th seed in the playoffs, playing the number 1 seed in the league. Okay. True. So the season has not been, to our desire for Heat culture. It's underperformed, but these last 2 games, man, we.
But I think there's different. It's a lot of different reasons of why we had the season that we had. Ups and downs with injuries, and the lineup was a little sporadic at times too. But the culture was always there. Like, we didn't have a bad season because we didn't play Miami Heat basketball. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I think it was just, like you said, a combination of availability, right, for most players, and the level that they were going to be able to play at when they playing,
right.
So, but look, even in this game, you had 24 points from Jimmy in the first half. You could, like you said, he's a Wade 2.0, right, where he's going to get to the free throw line. I'm going to get to this basket. And if you could leave me open within 18 feet, I'm going to knock down this jumper.
It was like a Heat home game. He controlled the pace.
He felt very at ease and controlled the game, and he's a guy who played 43 minutes. You know what I mean? Or the possible.
After playing on Friday.
After playing on
Wednesday.
You know what I'm saying?
So we went Wednesday. We went Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
So the amount of minutes
playoff Jimmy,
man, he's playing 30, 35, he's playing 40 and plus.
Yeah, and Jimmy, I think Jimmy's he's at the point where we're kind of maybe starting to a little bit take him for granted a little bit because Jesus Christ, playoff Jimmy every year, every game,
that
you can count on
that you don't have to worry about. He's going to do his job.
Think about that for a second. All right, we're drawing up a game plan. All right, we know we're gonna get 25, 30 plus from Jimmy. Like that's in playoffs. Like doing that, that's hard.
That's playoff Jimmy though, dog. Like, and it's not only because he's done it since he's got here, right? But Jimmy's always been a dog in the playoffs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So when we had an opportunity to get him, it was like, hell yeah, this guy fits the culture without a doubt. And every time that he's in the playoff games, dog, you know you're getting a good effort.
We've got to figure it out. I think personally, like with a little bit of size, just for the future, because like he's only getting older. You know.
Yeah, we've always had that.
We got to figure it out. We got to figure out
how much more time do we have?
How much more time we got with Jimmy? Because this is crazy.
This type of Jimmy.
With this Jimmy though, I don't want the declining Jimmy because it's going to happen at some point.
Right.
And he needs as much support as he can get while he can get it right now. So, yeah, Max Strus doing his thing is great. Bam, I got a bone to pick with Bam playing super small.
Let's talk
Bobby
about
Portis dogging him. But on top of that, then we lose now Tyler Hero to a broken hand 4 to 6 weeks. So
he's gone. He's gone for the rest of the playoffs.
You know what I mean? Like Jimmy's gonna have to pick up. My point is, like he's our third, one of our top 3 leading scorers. Now we lose that. Who's gonna have to pick that up?
Who's gonna have to pick up those 15, 16, 18 extra points?
That strain is only gonna put more wear and tear on him.
And that's wear and tear. But that's what I'm saying. Like we got to figure it out. I always say, like in Pat Riley we trust, and I'm never gonna doubt him. But we're gonna have to make some moves, man, because we. Look at
But before we get to the moves, we just got to look at like why there's such a big difference in how Bam plays the way he plays, right? Because it's like you said, it's not like that he doesn't want to do well, right? He's just
undersized, bro.
He's undersized, but I think that it's a mental thing. I think it's a mental game for him because there was a lot of game in that game, dog, where he'll get to the rim, pump fake, try to get the guy to jump, and he's unsure about the first move.
That's that's what size does to you, though. I
feel you, dog, but take the jumper then. You know what I'm saying? And knock it down UD style where, fuck it, I may be smaller than you, but I'm going to make you come out to 16 feet away from the basket so that Jimmy can cut and then he's got a free link to the basket without getting fouled.
Yeah. I mean, once he found that shot, he started taking it more confident.
He started taking it right.
In the fourth quarter, finally.
It's discomforting to see our big man, our guy that's starting at center, being dominated down low by Bobby Portis.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby Portis is not a scrub.
I'm not going to say that.
He's not
going to say that he is.
But I get what you're saying. It shouldn't be happening.
If
Bam is going to get dogged, I need you to get dogged by Giannis or Brook Lopez or whatever. Like, get dogged by those 2 guys. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand. I agree with you 100%.
And Bobby took advantage, dog, because like you said, he's not a scrub. So every time he was in
he had a great game.
Anywhere near the paint, he was like, oh, here comes a post out and a baby hook. And I'm going to knock it down.
It goes back to like what I said. That's why I'm counting the Heat out because they have just so many weapons. Because Chris Middleton, you got Brook Lopez, then you got
Middleton
Giannis.
Went off too.
Yeah, but first of all, just Giannis in that game now.
Yeah, but he'll be back.
Lost Giannis in that game.
They did. I'm just in general.
Back,
and look,
back spasms. Maybe.
He should be back for game 2, which is going to be Wednesday. But you're right. He did miss that game, and it did take a valiant effort from the Heat supporting staff, right, to make a lot of threes. We were 8 of 14. You mentioned Kevin Love earlier. He had a big game for us. I think he ended up with 18 points and made some big threes for us down the stretch.
Defense. He played that defense.
Great defense. Took a couple of charges. Played defense. Grabbed
great
big rebounds.
Passes.
And honestly, it's that kind of, even though it was a little late, that kind of was his like welcome to Miami like moment. Yeah. It was just like, you here? It's playoffs.
He's comfortable now. Like it takes time. You get a brand new team, right?
Yeah.
It takes time to assimilate to a brand new place, a brand new team, how they play, the way they play. You might have all those characteristics, but you need actual game time to get through work through those kinks. And we saw a well-oiled machine on Sunday.
Yeah.
Spo said it though, dog. Like he's like.
We also have Spo.
Yeah,
somebody don't forget. Like Spo is one of the best coaches.
Hall of Famer, and
galaxy,
the fact that people put other coaches even ahead of him, dog. I swear to God, gives me a migraine, and I don't even get migraines, dog. But let me get off that before I get upset, dog. Spo, dog, he said it. We're Navy SEALs, dog. You drop us in, dog. We're gonna get to it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who the opponent is. We're gonna get to it. So the Bucks know they're in for a tough series, and not having Giannis in that first game obviously affected them. Jimmy took advantage and said, "Fuck that, we're winning this game."
Yeah.
Took game 1. Game 2 on Wednesday is gonna be a different story because I don't know if we can depend on Kevin Love to have another good game like that, right? I did love his energy.
We don't got Hero.
No, we don't have Hero because he's out with the broken hand.
Is Gabe Vincent going to pull up again like he did? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Is Strus going to be Strus again?
Know.
Those are the question marks.
The only other one of those guys. We need a resurrection.
We need a resurrection. We need 2020, 2021 Duncan Robinson.
He did get some minutes, but look, he wasn't effective.
No, but also he hasn't been part of the game script for how long?
Right, that's on him though.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you were the $90 million man for 5 years. You got paid, and you were that guy, and then you got taken out of the lineup, and then you lost all your minutes. That has to take. We talked about mental earlier. That has to take a hit on your mental and your confidence. Your
it's you said it. It's the confidence more than anything else because, even though like it's tough being an athlete and the whole mental thing, this and that, but they're mentally stronger than your average person. So it's short-term memory. The next shot. J.R. Smith said it perfect. He's like, man, if I don't take 100 shots, how am I going to make the next one? I don't care about taking 101.
That man, J.R. Smith is a legend, dog.
But that's how legend. It is. Like he'll be fine if he gets the opportunity. It's just, is he going to be productive?
Yeah.
That's the question. Like.
And basketball is such a rhythm sport, right?
People, where he at? You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the biggest disappointments that we've had, right? In my opinion, having Victor Oladipo come in with the hype that he came in with, right? Because we knew he was going to be a project. He got healthy, and then everybody was expecting, like, when he got the opportunity to kind of be not the same Victor Oladipo, but like something real close to it.
I don't think it was a disappointment. It's opportunity, man. Like the opportunity it was very sporadic for him. It wasn't a consistent, let's see what you can become. He was in our lineup. Sometimes he'll go 2-3 games where we don't see him at all, and he'll play 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So that's tough, man. Like the opportunity really wasn't like there, And when it was, we saw flashes of Oladipo, like but. Again, it's tough, man. Like it's just hard.
It's hard. It's hard being an elite level athlete, dog. You know what I'm saying? If you're not working with a guy like DP at DP Performance, you're gonna be struggling, dog. You know what I mean? You're gonna be struggling. It is what it is, dog.
But so we sneaked that first game in Milwaukee, and as a delusional Heat fan, you can be like, all right,
that's my role, dog.
We're going to the championship. We're literally. Not even 2 weeks. I'm going to say 2 weeks. A week ago, we didn't know we were going to be in the playoff picture at all. Losing our first playing game against Atlanta,
and then we went down to play Chicago.
Chicago, and that was a tough one. So now we come in. There's a whole new Heat team. Do we expect that on Wednesday in Milwaukee again?
I expect the effort. Right. I expect the grittiness, the Heat culture to be there because it's always going to be there. But again, like I said, I'm taking the Bucks in this series.
I definitely would agree with you, right? The Bucks are definitely deserving to be favored because they've been the most consistent team in the East.
The best consistent team.
The best consistent team, right? There's two really top elite teams, right? Between Boston and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been inconsistent and kind of find their way. But those two teams,
even Boston had their skids too.
They had their skids, right?
So
when you look
at the most consistent,
for sure, you look at the Bucks and you're like, all right, this team is really good.
The core pretty much all intact, and then the
most of that was without Chris Middleton too.
Yeah, he was hurt.
So the consistency was just insane. Like they've just been really good the whole year. So I think it would have to take some type of real defensive effort, like Heat culture game where the score is not 100 in the high hundreds. 130.
You know what I mean? 130, 117. Yeah. No, the next game for the Heat to have a real chance at game 2, they would have to keep that game under the hundreds or right around 100.
And the scoring, man. Like, where's the scoring going to come from outside of Jimmy?
It has to be Bam. If it's not Bam, then what he's doing is opening the door for a lot of extra criticism that's not warranted, right? Because we know that he's all-star caliber or a really good player when he wants to be, but it can't be that when he wants to be.
Let's look at it this way. Like, what if Jimmy gives you 20, 25?
Oh, yeah, that's an L.
No, because he's an L,
I don't see us winning that game.
No, if you only get 25 from Jimmy,
that's an L.
I mean, right now in the playoffs, I don't see Jimmy having less than 30 right now.
And that's
for us to win.
Right.
That's for us to
imagine
win,
that,
Because if he does that means that, and we win, if he has less than 30 and we win, that means that like K-Love had like that 18-point,
or that defense was just crazy.
Gabe Vincent was on and Strus was on, and then maybe Caleb Martin happened to have a 16-point. You know what I mean? Like you look at it as like 7 players in double digits type of deal. Like that's where the only.
If it's one of those, then.
But how many of those have we gotten this season?
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, if it's one of those, I'll take it. But we'll have a mix. We would need a mixture of that and just our Miami Heat defense to be just.
I don't think it's gonna happen in game 2. Not game 2.
I'm a betting man, so I just wouldn't bet on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just wouldn't. I love the Heat to death. Like it's heat to heat, lifer forever. But I just don't see it. You know, I just don't see it.
If I'm Spo going into that game, I don't know if they're looking at it at this point like, all right, we won one, we got one. That's all we want.
Which is what you got to do in the series. Take one road game.
Right.
Now we play a little defensive. Maybe I sit Jimmy a little bit. You know what I mean? Or maybe I rest him a little bit more. And if we lose this one, I'm okay with losing that to take it back home where I feel comfortable. If you've been following the season, boys, I don't know if you feel comfortable at home. I feel just as nervous at home as I do on the road.
The thing is, dog, like at least at home, you know that you're bound to get a good performance from one of your unsuspected guys, right? From one of your other guys. A Strus, a Vincent, a Martin. Somebody's going to give you a big game.
You're going to feed off the energy, and it's,
They're going to feel off it. I mean, we saw it against the Bulls. Strus went like crazy. He had 15 points
that
in
is
the
more
first
likely,
half.
that is more likely to happen at home.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can see it more in game 3 and game 4, those being the scenario. In game 2, I don't see that, dog. I think Milwaukee coming out with a lot of energy.
The Bucks are just going to be like,
Middleton balled out. Portis balled out. Brooke Lopez did his thing, had an effect on game. You know, Wesley Matthews hit a couple of threes.
Wes Matthews.
You know what I mean? Like, they had a good team
Great
effort. They were just missing Giannis. And had Giannis been in the game,
I think what happened.
Yeah, they got Jay Crowder, dog.
Yeah, they do.
They got Gordon Dragic.
No, this team is, I'm telling you,
Miles Leonard.
They're the better team. But I think what happened is what you're supposed to do as the underdog is you got to go in there and punch them in the mouth and surprise them. And they got punched in the mouth, and now they're up. Now they're like, all right, you know what? You're about to knock me out. Yeah. You know, and foreshadowing to the Javante subject later, but
I like that.
But you're not. You know, we punched them in the mouth, and now they're awake. So now that they're awake, we have to deal with.
Yeah, you're gonna get their best effort. You're gonna get their best effort.
Punch in the mouth. One guy that we haven't talked about that a lot of Heat fans might want to punch in the mouth. Kyle Lowry. I just wanted to throw in that I know that.
First of all, Kyle Lowry showed up on Wednesday last week.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
On Tuesday against Atlanta, he had a meaningless 27-point game.
Nah, that was not meaningless. He
kept us in the game. He kept us in it.
He kept us in it.
I've seen Kyle Lowry play
best game he's had as a Heat for sure.
Oh, that's another one. Like he's another question mark.
We didn't mention him at all.
I didn't talk to him about him at all for a reason.
How much are we paying that guy that none of us brought him up?
I specifically didn't bring him up for a reason. I specifically didn't bring him up for a reason, dog, because I don't think that guy, all due respect to Kyle Lowry, he's an NBA player, you know what I mean? Can't discredit that.
Champion.
But he's a champion, you know what I'm saying? I can't discredit that. But for what he's been able to do for us, it hasn't been to par. You know what I mean? It hasn't even been to par. And
that makes it worse because we know what you're capable of. So
exactly.
Where is that?
Exactly.
You know, where is it?
Yeah. And what's the future hold?
And like what?
It's gonna be weird.
We need consistency. That's why Jimmy is Jimmy.
Let's see. We got game 3 at home on Saturday. We got to get that one, and then we have game 4 Monday at the crib. Got to try to get those 2 games because I don't think I'm with you, dog. I don't think we're gonna get game 2.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see game 2. I also don't see the series, but I'm there. I'm there with the Heat. I'm standing with you guys, win or lose.
I love it. All right, now let's talk about some real dudes going to be throwing blows this weekend. That's Javante Davis taking on Ryan Garcia. Dog, this has been one of the most exciting fights that not only has been announced, right, in the last 2 years, but it's actually happening.
I was
in the
say,
last 2
it's
years,
not the
dog.
announcing that's because the announcements happen all the time. It's not the fact that it's happening.
Yes.
The other one that I also is the Spencer Crawford. But that's a different conversation.
That's another one that hasn't been signed yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that one I'm a little excited because at least they're
potential.
You know, the potential's there. But Ryan Garcia and Tank.
Let's talk about it, dog. These guys are fighting at 136, a catch weight, right? Mm-hmm. Ryan usually fights at 140. Tank at 135. Finding themselves kind of in the middle there, but both of these guys are world-class fighters, dog, undefeated fighters, guys who are literally being considered as one of the best in their era of right now.
Yeah.
And for these dudes to go on the line and say, you know what, let's sign this contract, let's see who's really the best, dog.
Let's really fight because, you know, they've agreed to this before and then it hasn't happened.
Right.
Ryan says Javante doesn't want to fight.
I just think that, like, them being 8 young dudes, right? Because Javante's 28, I think Ryan's 24, turning 25. They're both relatively young, especially seasoned vets in their career. You got to be able to fight the best when it matters, dog. You know what I mean? Can't be 38, 36 and fighting the best at that time.
You know, like kind of like we got Mayweather Pacquiao too late.
Way too late.
I personally think, you know, we
got
it too late. But I personally think Mayweather would have still won. But it's something I would have wanted to see 5-6 years prior to where we saw it. You know?
Hell yeah.
But
should have.
This particular fight, Javante, I think it's a mistake that they're letting Gervonta do it at 140. Or both of them do it at 140 because.
I mean,
I think I personally think he's going to put him down.
he has that power, though, dog.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't want him at 140. I personally think.
I think they're fighting at 136. I think they're fighting at 136.
Are they?
But Ryan's coming down, so he's thinking like fight night. I'm gonna definitely balloon up to like at least 142.
140, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
141, right around that 140 range.
Yeah,
and him being the taller dude, a fast guy, not necessarily a slow guy.
Lightning fast.
It makes for an interesting fight, dog. And those two styles are very forward-going styles, right? They both
go at it.
They both go at it. They both had,
you're not gonna get that defensive Mayweather. But that's the thing about this fight. That's why it's so exciting because Gervonta Davis is, at least to me, even though he has that knockout power, he's exciting, he's this and he's that, he's got that Mayweather defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as fast as Ryan is, I think it's going to be hard for him to really put his hands on Gervonta Davis.
I mean, we've seen Ryan get touched, right? And get put on the canvas.
And if anybody could do it,
granted to him, all credit due to him because he got up after that and knocked Buddy out. You know what I mean? So
I mean, no, Ryan Garcia, he's a real deal.
Legit.
I personally think in this particular fight, his mouth is going to get him in a little bit more trouble than it should. But it's not to diminish, the kind of fighter that he is. He's legit. That's why we're excited because he's legit. If he wasn't, it's another Tank fight, Yeah,
for sure.
But he's legit. It's Tank.
I mean, if you've been watching the Showtime stuff, right? Like, and you see how Tank is training, dog, and the type of opponents that he's gone up against. He's never been a guy to shy away from anybody. He's never been the type of dude to say, "Well, I can't bang with this dude, or I need to get away." He does what he needs to do in order to put on a show while being smart, like you said, like Mayweather, right? Put on the show.
He's got
let people think that I'm hurt and really go out there and mess dudes up,
or let people think that he can't touch me.
Right?
So they can't,
Right. And that's what makes this fight so interesting. And it has us definitely excited for it, dog, because, again, you're talking about two young lions, dog, in their prime, guys who are being considered being the best, putting everything that they have on the line to say, I'm going to prove to you that I'm better than you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that sets the precedent for everybody else. Now, you see Haney and Lomachenko, they signed the dotted line and say, you know what? Let's go at it, dog.
Go at it.
You're the former champ. You held it down. You don't think that I'm an undisputed champ? I'm going to show you.
Yeah, that's why I'm just happy that we're getting into fight when we should be getting the fight. Because again, like I said, like that Pacquiao Mayweather, we got it too late.
Way too late.
We got it way too late.
Way too late. And I hope that doesn't happen with Spencer and Crawford,
Crawford,
dog.
right.
Them boys have to find a way to get on the dotted line, dog, and figure this shit out, dog.
Yeah, and I think with this one in particular, I think they started to just put egos aside because, Ryan Garcia has been saying, Tank doesn't want to fight me because of XYZ. He doesn't want to do this. He don't want to do that. I think they finally, it's like, you know what? Cut the bullshit aside. Let's get in the ring.
And it can't be because of the money, dog, because both of these guys are going to get paid, dog,
I mean,
right? We know they're going to make money, but you have to be the guy to say, I'm better than you, dog.
I'm better than you.
And here's why.
Let's get in the ring. Like, fuck all this extra shit, man. Let's get in the ring.
Let's get in the ring,
Let's get in the ring.
This fight's going to be exciting, dog.
Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
Pay-per-view.
Las Vegas. Let's get some official.
Where's it at? T-Mobile? Where's it?
No, I think they're fighting in the MGM.
Okay.
Let's get some official predictions here. DP, you're the guest.
No, let's save him for last. They probably have, or one of you two for last. Go with the novice.
Got it. Who you got? Who you got?
All I'm going to say is I found out about Ryan Garcia through Instagram.
Okay.
I found out about
that's valid because
Tank Davis through boxing.
So then, there you go.
I think he's gonna whoop his ass.
All right. So you got a knockout. You got unanimous decision.
This is gonna be a knockout fight.
Inside 10 rounds.
On a decision. Yeah, I think Tank's taking him out early.
All right, early, like 5,
7, 8.
Okay,
somewhere in there.
That's pretty middle. What do you got, DP? What do you got?
Feel him out a little bit and then show him what he's got.
So I definitely 100% got Tank winning. I don't think it's gonna be early though, because like I said, Ryan Garcia is fast. He's
not a joke.
I don't think it's gonna be early. I think Tank is it's gonna take Tank a while to figure out, what he got going on and how he's doing it. He's gonna land punches because he's fast, so he's just gonna feel him. It's gonna take him a while. I don't think 7, 8. I think the knockout is gonna come late, 10, 11, maybe even the 12th round. I think it's going to be a knockout.
I understand.
I think Tank is going to knock him out.
I understand why people are picking Gervonta Davis, right? And I'm not saying that I'm picking either Davis or Garcia. I understand it, right? Because his knockout power, dog, in that division is not a joke, dog. Yeah. He really has hurt people, left people slept,
that's
dog,
why
in the ring.
That's why he's my favorite current boxer.
Yeah, he's definitely a beast at it. But Ryan's no joke, dog. You said it.
He's not.
This is a dude who can really, if he avoids that power from Gervonta Davis, there's a good chance that he's landing a lot of punches and winning rounds, right?
I mean,
Maybe not hurting him,
you could also
but
be
he's winning rounds.
You could be avoiding punches and not be landing any yourself. Because and that's why I think if he doesn't knock him out and it goes to decision, Gervonta Davis, I'm still going to outbox him. Yeah. But I personally think that he's going to knock him out. He's going to wear him down. He's going to use his speed to his advantage, wear him out, and eventually put him down.
Finish it that way.
Yeah.
If I may use a golf analogy here, Ryan Garcia, speed, form, he has the, what you want to have as a boxer, right? I think about Rory McIlroy. Right? And
Damn,
Rory's decorated,
right after
right?
he
Rory's
right,
decorated. Rory has all the accolades and everything, but you look at his swing, and this
Damn,
is what
I
mean
like
by
Roy,
that.
man.
You
Don't
look
do
at his
that.
swing, and they have, like his swing is like picturesque. It's like textbook, what you want to do.
Yeah, the poster child.
Ryan has that, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the guy that's going to go out there and win every week on the PGA or on any tour for that matter.
Damn, I like Roy, man.
You're going to get the biggest dog that day.
Yeah.
And I think there's been enough bad blood in this, from the not wanting to fight to wanting to fight. And I've seen Tank's resume. Again, I don't know enough about boxing to be having any kind of conversation about it right now, or at least have a say in this conversation. But there's just something that tells me that his speed, Ryan's speed, is not going to be enough to match Tank's power.
I think he's
going to
feel
that. He's going to get popped, and he's going to go, oh, shit.
I feel like Tank is just going to use his own speed against him.
Yeah, probably, right?
I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be part of wearing him out to then knock him out. Like that power you were talking about that Gervonta has, that power is going to be more dangerous later in the fight.
For sure.
He's going to be more fatigued, he's going to be more tired. And when that power comes in, that's why I think it's going to be a 10, 11, maybe 12.
So we got mine. We got yours.
I'm taking Davis. What can I say, man? I just think that no, for sure. I just think that he's the overall better boxer. But I wouldn't be surprised that if it goes the full 12 rounds and Ryan does survive the whole fight, I think that he could have a chance to steal some rounds.
No, he does. He does.
He definitely does.
If because you always with boxing, there's always a little bit of surprise.
Right. You never know.
You never know. There's a lot of times. A lot of boxers have been robbed from a lot of fights, and we all know that. So if it goes the distance, and let's say Ryan gets the decision, depending on how the fight went, it may or may not be a surprise. Because I could also be like, damn, bro, like Gervonta was nowhere to be seen today.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like,
that could happen.
That could happen.
Brian gets in there and he pieces him up where he can't see. Maybe he's not knocking him out, but he's piecing him up.
I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and say
different conversation. But
Ryan didn't deserve it because both of these guys are deserving of a victory. Yeah. But I just
We've seen Gervonta fight
again. Yeah, I've seen Gervonta.
He has a good sample size. Do you really think that he's going to get?
Yeah.
I don't think that's that likely to happen. I do think it's more likely that Ryan Garcia gets knocked out.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. That's.
And if he doesn't, you know what? That just proves how good Ryan Garcia is. All right.
Absolutely.
To get into a ring with a guy like Davis,
like
dog,
Tank,
survive, dog, full 12 rounds. Come on, man. That's not going to be an easy feat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it definitely makes for an interesting fight, man. It's going to be one of the all-time greats for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too, dog.
Along with the Crawford. And
yeah. Well, they got to sign that shit. They got to sign that shit. I'm looking forward to Lomachenko and Haney too, dog. That's coming down in May. Got to give an honorable mention to the Marlins. You know what I mean? They're 8-8, keeping it 500.
The squad.
You know what I mean?
Be worse.
It could be worse, dog. It could be much worse. And even the way that they're winning, because you mentioned it earlier, dog, before we started recording, like, Luzardo's has been that dude. You know what I mean? He's been that dude.
Been a dude, though.
He's always been that dude and now he's proven it on the big scale because he's getting a chance to do so because this type of season or start that Sandy's getting to it. You know what I mean?
A couple of years ago, it was T-Raw.
Yeah.
Trevor Rogers. Last year, Sandy, Cy Young.
Not for nothing though. Like,
maybe.
Depending on whatever person's level of understanding for baseball, I kind of always saw Trevor Rogers as a surprise. Like, to me, the Trevor Rogers, I was like, oh, where'd this guy come from? I didn't expect that, and I also didn't expect that to continue, which it didn't. But like, it was just a nice surprise when it happened. But I always knew, I'm like, this team going forward is gonna have to ride Sandy's shoulders. And at the time, Sixto Sanchez at the time was
the
throwing.
number one prospect.
He was a big prospect, and I like him. And I was like, these two guys are going to have to carry the Marlins to the future. You know, we made that move for Luzardo from the A's 3 years ago now, and he became a surprise. Last year, Pablo Lopez was very consistent too. So we had a very good rotation going. But the Rogers, I always knew, like, whenever we get more pitching, he's probably going to be on the back end.
Fourth,
Yeah,
fifth
we
guy.
definitely saw a regression in Trevor Rogers
the mean,
last
yes.
year, but
He's not the worst,
that
but
got
regression
so
to the means.
overlooked by the Cy Young season that Sandy had.
Yeah, Sandy
but
killed
yeah,
it.
early on, I mean, yeah, like you said, he's helping us out, he's carrying us, and then on the hitting side, man, I mean, this guy Luis Araez,
Dog.
right? Is that
So before the
Where
season,
the hell did this guy come from, dog?
before
single-handedly, like,
before
This
the
guy's
season,
changing the whole face of the freaking lineup, dog, by himself.
So this guy was the quietest, just batting champ last year in the AL, who came over this year, and then he's picking up where he left off last year here in the NL.
Sheesh, dog.
But this year, when I looked at the Marlins, number one, the only reason I wasn't happy is just the division we're in. It's just
Yeah, those guys are front
Stacked.
loaded with
we've
cash,
had like
dog.
the
stacked.
The Nationals, Braves, and Phillies have all been in the World Series the last 5 years.
Yep. And now the Mets just
and then the
invested
Mets-
$250 million.
And then the Mets have spent a
always bring
gazillion
that up.
dollars to make sure they're in the World Series.
It's like
shout out to
$250 million.
Cohen's, you
And
know,
we're
Cohen's got bread.
we're just on the outside like, oh, we got to deal
Struggling
with
with
these
a
guys.
$30 million payroll,
You know,
dog.
and then I looked at it as, all right, well, at least, first of all, we have the Cy Young Award winner. We have to build around that, which we did. And we are. We have, Max Meyer is a big-time prospect who's
Yeah, I'm
trying
really
to get healthy
looking
right
forward to
now.
him, dog.
He's going to be a guy.
I'm
Trust
looking
me.
forward
He's
to
gonna
that
be a
guy getting out there, dog.
That guy's going to be a guy. After
he
he
played
gets...
last year, right? Max Meyer, but he got hurt like in
he
his
got
debut or
hurt.
something
Right.
He was
like
up
that.
and down in
made-
AAA, but he's still hurt now. He started the year on the IL, but he's a guy. He's a dude. He's gonna be a dude. When he gets the ball rolling, he's gonna be that third, fourth guy in the rotation.
Workhorse type, right? Big,
And,
burly kid, dog.
Yeah, throws hard. He has good movements. If his command's on point, that guy's gonna be another dude.
But it's gotta happen.
I don't know what the ceiling may be for him. I don't want to go ahead and say Cy Young type, but like he's gonna be a guy who could win you 10, 12 games.
That's right.
Behind
That's
all we need. That's all we need, dog.
a Sandy, behind the Luzardo.
That's what we need, dog. Because look, if you think about it, you mentioned it earlier when the rotation was doing really, really well, dog.
The hitting wasn't there.
The hitting wasn't there, but you still had Sandy going out there giving less than 2 runs a game. Pablo Lopez giving less than 3 runs a
We
game,
would
2.4.
lose 3-1,
and we lose it.
3-0.
Exactly.
And the crazy thing is that he still
And the
won.
bullpen
He
sucked,
still
too.
won the Cy Young Award. The Cy Young Award with a lot of games. He could have won more games last year. Like there was a lot of times where he left the game winning. The bullpen would
Gave it up.
give it up. He'll end up with no decision. Sometimes end up with a loss, and still went out there and beat out Burns for Cy Young.
Yeah,
with
clearly.
a Marlin lineup. With no offense to us, who didn't really give him a lot of support. Jazz went down
And that
last
was it.
year.
That was the offense.
And that was literally where we just started declining.
Nothing
Soler
else.
wasn't really Soler of the playoffs that he was the year before with the Braves. And, Aguilar sometimes will have a game. Sometimes we were just all over the place.
Yeah,
We didn't have
another
he didn't have the
regression.
support, but he still went out there. This year, they made some moves. Our lineup looks a lot better. Jazz is healthy,
sir. Yes,
playing in
sir.
a position. You know what you're going to get from Jazz, but we're in a division where it's just,
It's so hard to compete.
how are you going to put up with
We need.
with dealing with the
we
Phillies?
need a better owner. We need Jeff Bezos. We need Jeff
Yo,
Bezos
Jeff,
to
come
buy
save the
team,
Marlins, dog.
Think about it.
Jeff, come save the Marlins, dog.
Cuban
I think-
descent,
Come save the
bunch
Marlins,
of
dog.
money, just throw it. What's the tax? Throw it. I don't care. Just throw it in the bag.
It's not that, dog. I feel like the Marlins
Give me
could.
Mike Trout.
The Marlins could. Yeah, you wish, dog. The Marlins could put a decent lineup out there. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
no, the lineup is past decent.
It's beyond decent.
It's
But what I'm
beyond
saying is,
decent.
like, as far as expectation meeting reality, right? Where they're getting at least 2 guys batting real close to 300. You know what I mean? 2 guys with 20 plus home runs. Not necessarily a 40 home run guy, because that hasn't worked for us. But you need to have a team contribution, and I think they can get that
We
out of this
are,
lineup.
but we are that team, though. I think
sure.
we are that team that's gonna mess up some spreads for some guys who are betting. We're that team because we're that. We're
talking from personal experience.
We're the Marlins
Yeah,
are that
good
team
diction.
that
Call
you
1-800
don't
Gambler.
want to. You look past the Marlins and we're gonna sweep you.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're not a team that's gonna go up there and beat the Phillies in a 7-game series. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. But you look past us on any given series, we're gonna go out there and beat you. We did that against the Mets, last week.
And look, we did it against Philly, and we did it against
Philly,
and we did it against Arizona.
Yeah,
and against Arizona.
They actually lit up Sandy in game one. They lit up Sandy, and then we came back and beat them. You know, that's who we are. We're that
the same thing happened against Arizona. We lost the first game, and we won the next two. We're
actually down now 3-1. Last I checked against the Giants. So, but
that's who we are.
That's who we are
for sure. But as a Marlins fan, I think that's what we want. Keep us around 500 because that means that you got a shot. Things go well. You catch fire. You make a trade. You fix the bullpen, and something can happen, right? Where you just want to be in the playoffs. Yeah. That's all you really want as a fan.
I think at the end, if you're have a puncher's chance later on to make the wild card, maybe the second wild card, whatever.
What is it, dog?
No, I mean, I just go. I'll let you continue with your turn.
No, you just freaking made a noise and shit.
If we have a chance in the end, we can probably make some noise. Because as sad as it is, injuries are part of the game.
True.
So other teams, it's a long season. Other teams might not be healthy the whole year. We may capitalize on just being healthy alone and being that scrappy team later down the road. And Sandy's gonna pick it back up. He's had a couple rough starts. He's gonna pick it back up. We get our Sandy that we know. We get Lazardo doing what he's doing, and we get one more guy. Edward Cabrera is another really good prospect.
A real candidate.
He's really good. If we get Sixto back from AAA, he gets healthy.
Kind of not waiting on him anymore, dog.
But we're right there. We're a dangerous team.
We're there.
If we get hot,
we're there, and I don't ever think we're gonna be the team that has to hit 200 home runs in a season to win games.
I mean, we're never going to be that.
We have really, really outstanding pitching, and we can put together good lineups that can win games by manufacturing runs. That's for sure.
And that's what we are.
What's the breaking news,
All right, so, I mean, just breaking news for us. I'm sure, everybody listening already knows this, but you had said that we were down 3-1, which was correct. We were down 3-1 early on in the third inning. We came back and won that game 4-3.
Look at that.
That's who we are. That's
Marlins
exactly
baseball,
who we are. That is who we are.
That's Marlins baseball.
We're dangerous because if in the end we have that kind of chance, that's what we can do.
I got a question for you. Do you think all of this is happening right now because we brought back the Florida Marlins throwback on Fridays? Yo, that shit was super smart by them, dog.
Hey, look, he was the one complaining about ownership. They got something right. I personally, I love the unis.
OG?
I think we should probably wear them more than just Fridays, but whatever. I'm glad they brought them back, but I mean, I just think it's something that they're getting fans engaged again.
True.
People don't kind of support the Marlins until they start doing good. So it's. I'm glad that they did it. We're going to have to find something else to get some more people in the stands, do something else. That's why we should wear it a little bit more often. But I think if we get one big bat, it'll get people excited about the Marlins.
Just win. Just win. Be a contender.
Winning always.
If you win,
just be a contender.
If you win, you can draw the big bat in the offseason.
Not even in the offseason.
Make a team, to your credit, to your point, build a team and then, build a good product. Then the fans will show up and then players are going to want to be there to be seen. So that's what we need to do. It's harder when we're competing in a division like ours where the Mets are going out and buying whoever the hell they want, paying whatever they can.
$250 million.
We got that going against us on top of injuries, on top of a long season, on top of everything else.
I mean, also too, though, the Marlins as an organization, you're right about the whole, the Mets can go out and spend all this cash and get whoever, but the Marlins as an organization, they've just made some not the smartest of moves. Because don't forget, we had Christian Yelich the MVP and we gave him away for basically nothing.
We had Miguel Cabrera, dog.
We've had
there's a bunch of shit that you look back at and you're like, wow.
Giancarlo was his best move.
We paid Stanton all this money.
Yeah, but getting rid of him was the smartest.
Well, I'm saying before that,
it worked out. It worked out in the end.
That one worked out.
Right. But that's why we haven't made smart moves. I said get a bat. We had a bat. We had the MVP of the National League in Christian Yelich, and we gave him away for nothing. What did we get back from that?
Peanuts.
We had nothing to show for it. Meanwhile, the Brewers are chilling with an MVP guy caliber every single year. When we could be having that right now. Yeah. Add Christian Yelich to our lineup right now. And we're dangerous.
Look, I feel like Real Mutual was another move that we got rid of that guy, and everybody looks at how the
he's one of the best catchers in the league.
Dog.
So we've had the players, we just don't make good decisions, I think. Executive decisions.
Sure. I'm hearing that Philly's backup catcher might be better than Real Mutual.
Now let's ship him back to us.
I got to see it.
They got to bring it.
I got to see it to believe it.
No. If they think that, cool. Send them back over here. We'll take that guy with open arms, dog, happily, dog.
I heard that on the dark web or something. I don't know. Maybe that might have been a dream. I don't know.
Who told you that?
Who told you that, dog? Who's your source, my dog?
Was that like a Roy McIlroy type of person?
Yeah. You know what? We got to end it on a little bit of golf talk, dog. Pete, Joel, we got to get this guy on the channel, dog, because I see you out there on the golf course, dog.
I'm out there swinging it.
Out there swinging it, dog.
At my home course, dog.
Yeah, right?
We got to do something.
We got to do something, dog, and get this guy on the golf course, man.
I'm ready.
Tell me a little bit about the game of golf and what it means to you and how you enjoy playing that game, dog. Because it's not normal for guys like us, right? Guys who come from the neighborhood.
It's definitely not a normal thing. It's one of those sports I always look past. I always like, why am I golfing? Like, and it's growing up, like inner city, you're going to pick all the other sports before golf. Like you're going to
1,000%.
Any little kid now, like, hey, you want to play football, basketball,
It's just easier to play, right? You give these kids a ball and all of that. Nobody's getting a set of golf clubs when they're
area, 8. You
especially
put a shoe over there and your sandal over there. You got a boundary.
And that's a touchdown.
And that's it. Even basketball, you get a milk crate, cut it,
and you're
shoot
good to go.
anything, whatever it is.
Can't do that with golf.
It's just easier. With golf, you need a golf course, like
right.
You need to make a little hole, like
you need multiple golf clubs.
You need multiple golf clubs, like it's the money. Like, I could barely afford to play the sports that I played when I was growing up. So my mom's not dishing out thousands of dollars for clubs for me to. No,
that's not happening.
So I always look past it, always. But getting older now, can't really play football, tackle football all the time. Even the flag 365, it just takes a lot out of you.
Shout out to Steve, man.
Shout out to my man Steve. It takes a lot out of you. And, my busy schedule, it's easier for me to just go out there, play 9 holes, 18 holes, 2-3 hours, and just keep it moving. And with me, it's just, I guess that's what made me such a good athlete. I always wanted to put my talents on the line at the highest level. So whenever I don't get something right away, I get pissed off, and then I just get so competitive and just so into it that I'm like, until I get this right, I'm gonna just. And that was what golf was. I tried golf. I tried golf. Like you try once. Oh, I could do this. Oh, look, I hit this ball this far. I could try to hit it farther. And then little by little, it was just like.
Next thing you know, you're spending thousands of dollars.
I'm gonna be really good at this.
Golf, dog.
I'm gonna be really good at this, and I'm gonna prove to myself that I have the talent to do whatever it is I want and be really good at whatever it is I want. And that's what golf was. I'm gonna spend the money and I'm gonna do it. And still now, even when I hit good shots, I still get pissed off.
It's a game, dog, that definitely challenges you, right? And it always keeps you on your toes. And you could hit a great shot, you could hit another great shot, and then your next 3 shots are going to be bad. You're going to be like, I got to focus every single time I do this one little activity. And I think that's what makes golf so appealing to us, right? Because it's a sport that you're always evolving at and always trying to get better at every single swing.
And it's a sport that's going to humble you every day too. Like, you can go on the golf course.
Preach to the choir.
It's going to humble you. Every single swing is going to humble you. You could have 8, 9, 10 terrible holes, and that one good par 3 gets you going and say, I'm going to have a good back 9.
Yeah,
forget about the first 8 holes. That back 9, I'm going to kill it. It's a good feeling too. That once you get a really good flush, you see that ball hit on the green, you're like, damn.
Oof, the sound. We were talking about it earlier, dog.
Like,
the sound of hitting a good shot and just knowing that you hit that sound, dog. You don't even got to look up to see where it went. You're just like, I know I got this one.
Let me ask you this question. Knowing everything you know about baseball and now golf, that you've been playing it for a few years now, would you, and not trying to take away from any of your business by any means, or trying to sway any young individuals out there, but a young person wanting to get into either or, hey, I want to do either baseball or I want to do golf. What would you guide them now, knowing everything that you know about
both
baseball?
sports.
I know you don't know as much about golf in the professional and how to get to that level, which is a whole other conversation, but you do know on the baseball side how much that takes a toll on your body and all that stuff. What would be your thought around that?
It's a good question.
It's a very good question. I think it depends on the kid who's telling me. I'm going to see his physique. It depends, but I'm going to tell him to go the golf route. Just baseball is it's so hard. It's
so hard to make it.
Hard to play. Forget making it. It's so hard to play baseball. It's really hard to hit a baseball. And what comes with that is even harder because baseball is just a sport. It's a game of failure. It's like, I was telling you guys earlier, like you go up there and you strike out 7 times, you hit 3 base hits, you're a Hall of Famer,
Straight up.
But you can do everything correctly in the batter's box and fail and fail and fail and fail. And as a kid, that's going to mess with you mentally. At least in golf, if you go out there and your mechanics are correct and you do everything how you're supposed to do it, that ball doesn't move. So at some point, you continue to do the right things the right way, you're going to start flushing, you're going to start hitting balls eventually, time after time again, more consistently. But in baseball, you can do the right thing every single time and fail every single time.
Yeah.
So I would probably tell a kid, go the golf route. But it depends. If I'm talking to a kid that's 6'4", 200 pounds, who has a good swing, hey, yo, play baseball.
Yo, Papo, you're going to baseball for sure.
And if he happens to have a Dominican accent,
Hey, play baseball. He's fast.
Papi, man, left field. Ponte en left field. Ponte en left field.
We'll play baseball. We'll try it.
But if he has an Irish last name, you might be like,
but I'd probably more likely
I
tell you go the golf route because it's just it's an easier transition. It's an easier sport in the sense of the difficulty. You're gonna fail a lot less in golf than you are in baseball. Baseball, you're gonna fail every single day.
Yeah,
every single day. If you look at the lines now, we're talking about Arraez. Like I guarantee you, he probably went 1 for 4, 2 for 5. He failed 3 times, 4 times. You're gonna go up there, and you're gonna fail every single day. But you can go on the golf course and have a day.
Right. Or hit good shots. Or just even good shots. Just
hit a bunch of good shots time and time again. If everything is on point, your mechanics are on point, you do everything right, you could have a consistent day.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
you have 1 or 2 bad shots. I went into the water, this and that, whatever. But baseball, Mike Trout against Ohtani in the classic.
Out three straight
his
pitches,
approach,
dog.
if you look at that at bat, his approach was there. He kind of geared up for the fastball when he knew it was coming. He still didn't hit it. Like, yo, it's
so hard.
It's just so hard. It's so hard to play baseball.
So hard.
I mean, the conversation we had pre-show, around what we thought was harder, sparked up an interesting debate. And the question was, is it harder to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball?
Well, it was what's more likely. What do you think more like is more likely?
Or the hole-in-one.
Correct. That's right. The verbiage was, what is more likely to happen? An individual to hit either a 100-mile-an-hour fastball or hit a hole-in-one. And you argue for it's harder to hit the 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I argued the hole-in-one. Good arguments to both sides as far as, luck and being involved and how many tries and the constants.
It's a good conversation to have between the homies, for sure.
I'm curious to see what the listeners at home, what their thoughts are on it. So make sure to chime in. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think.
That'll be interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see, the kinds of people that have the opinions and their backgrounds. But like I said, it's just
hard.
I think
all those sports are just hard.
It's for me. It's more like I almost had a hole-in-one, and I've never hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So that's that. I personally think it's more likely for you to get a hole-in-one. Depends how long you've been playing, how good you are.
Even luck, man. Just the luck of swinging the golf club in a certain way and making good contact and having that thing come out flush, right, without you even really intending it to.
Yeah.
That's more likely to happen, in my opinion,
I
right?
think it's more likely to happen.
My argument about dumb luck your argument for dumb luck in golf, just anybody can hit a shot.
Was the reverse for baseball.
Which has happened. That was my argument for the baseball swing, and at some point you have to time, line it up dumb luck and just happen to make some contact. But when you put it in perspective, if you've seen an 80-mile-an-hour pitch come by your head before, well, now add 20 miles an hour to that, you don't see it. Yeah. So that argument, I do understand that, but man, I've been playing golf long enough, and
you still haven't hit a hole-in-one.
I've never seen one in person either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard.
So, have you came close?
To what, hitting a hole-in-one? I have. A couple times.
So then now you prove my point.
He was waiting on that one, dog. Go ahead, ask me.
And I've been with people that have gotten in real close. Shout out to my boy Frankie. That might be the closest one, bro. Hit, spun back, rolled, and 2 inches away from the cup, around the cup, but could have lipped out.
So it was flirting with
fire.
And it was, and still, we haven't seen anybody. We golf a lot, dog, and we've never seen, the coming close is few and far between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot more bad shots. You're talking about failure. There's a lot more failure that happens at our level of golf.
Yeah, for sure.
There are those good ones, but yes, we have come close on
occasion. You've experienced either yourself or other people come close on occasions to get a hole-in-one. But the chances of any of you guys ever stepping on a batter's
I'm
box.
not hitting it. I'm not hitting it. I'm telling you right now,
How
dog.
many of you guys have ever hit a 90
And I've
miles an
swung
hour
a bat way more than this guy, dog. And I know in my heart of heart, soul of soul, dog, that I would never get close to a 90 mile per hour pitch. I can't even think 100 miles per hour.
The statistics, and I look at it like this. Every weekend there's a golf tournament. Every week there's baseball. Now that we're in baseball season. Are 100 mile an hour pitches being thrown every game? At least a couple of times
nowadays,
a year?
Actually, nowadays, not many, but yeah.
Not many, but there are being thrown.
Enough,
So you talk about multiple games a week, so that those multiple instances of those balls being thrown. Of those instances, I got to imagine that people are hitting off of people throwing.
So here's what I'm saying, it's probably 15 to 20%.
Here's what I'm getting at. It happens 15 to 20% of the time. There's weekends in golf where you don't get a single hole in one.
Right, but now
152 player fields or 140 player fields, 4 tournament days. You don't see a single hole in one.
Right? But again,
the best in the world.
It goes back to the question of it's what's more likely. So another thing too is now we're talking about professionals.
Yes,
I'm talking about. What's more likely for a random, Josecito on the street?
If I was
you know what I'm saying? You are more likely to get a hole in one than hit 100 miles an hour. Now, if you want to talk about, all right, what's more likely for Mike Trout to do? Probably hit 100 miles an hour. But we're talking about Mike Trout.
I can see Mike Trout hitting a hole in one too.
I can see that too.
Yeah, for sure. Right?
I can see that too.
For sure, dog. You're making it look easy.
If we're specifically talking about Mike Trout, he's more likely to hit a home run off 100 miles an hour.
Sure. Yeah,
Mike Trout, the best baseball player in the game.
So the question is the average person.
Now, the average person is
more likely. Average person more
likely to probably make a hole in one for sure.
It's definitely a hole in one.
Definitely a hole in one.
100 mile an hour pitch or hit a hole in one.
So much. If that
drop a comment, let us know what you guys think.
More likely the baseball. I'm gonna keep going on that side just for the sake of the
argument. There would be more. You would run into more guys that played professional baseball if that was the case. If that was the case.
Yeah, I figured for you to be up in that level, like that MLB elite level, you got to be able to hit that.
If it's more likely that an average person can hit 100 miles an hour, there would be more pro guys walking around.
Yeah, for sure. And we're talking about elite, right? And Major League Baseball is the elite level.
It's the best of the best.
Where you're thinking, this guy's definitely hit 100 miles per hour multiple times in his lifetime of playing baseball, you know what I mean? And they still, like you said, they're going to miss 7 times out of 10, especially if it's a fastball.
And like the pro guys, big leaguers, they golf all the time.
Yeah.
They golf all the time. So I think one of them has gone
close as hell to a hole in one for sure.
I don't golf with every major league, baseball player, but
gotten close.
As much as guys golf, they've gotten close, and it's more likely. It's just more likely hitting 100 miles an hour.
Well, if you made that argument, what do you think is more likely for Mike Trout to hit a hole in one or for John Rahm to hit 100 mile an hour fastball? In that specific scenario, I'm going to go with Trout.
Trout, right? Exactly.
Sure.
Rahm doesn't look like he can swing a baseball bat.
You just got to think about the amount of chances, right?
On a regular backswing, dog.
He's got a belly, man. He's got a big belly, man. He's got that belly. He's going to get in the way.
He could probably get it, dog. He could probably get it. But
that's a good scenario. Like, Trout is probably going to get more likely than Rahm hit that fastball.
That fastball, yeah. It's an interesting topic, man, and it just shows you how hard, again, those type of sports are, and like you got to have some type of really good coordination or at least dumb luck to get it to be able to at least even make contact with a 100 mile per hour ball, and that's you being really good at baseball.
And that's you being that's really good at baseball. That's not your average Joe walking down the street,
Yeah, man. Yo, this has been amazing, dog. This guy's been probably one of our best guests, dog. Yo, DP, my dog. I appreciate you so much, man. Let the people know where they can find your company one more time on Instagram.
@ DP Performance. DP Performance. You got to put 2 P's in there.
Yep.
And yeah, man, check me out. Come see me.
Yeah, man. Yo, make sure you guys are following this guy. And if you have somebody in your life that wants to get to that next level, hit that elite status, you got to come check out my dog. Man, Joel, it's time to tell people to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell one more friend.
To tell everybody they know.
About this amazing podcast and what we bring you on a consistent basis just like this, man. Make sure you guys are following us on all social media. And until next time, peace.